Previously on Community Crime Solvers Live.
Who took the crystal? Where is it hidden? 3, 2, what? The answer to the crystal vanishes. The crystal didn't abandon you, Sherman said. It's just playing a little joke. He had to handle this delicately. The last thing he wanted to do was put an end to these weekly events, something that would surely happen if one of his spirit-loving friends was exposed as a thief. If memory serves, Luther freshened our coffee a few minutes ago, and yet the coffee carafe still seems to be full. Sherman carried the glass carafe into the kitchen and carefully emptied the contents into the sink. Sitting there in the bottom of the carafe was the crystal ball. You see, it dematerialized from the box and rematerialized here. Agatha and Grimelda laughed with relief. So did Luther, although Sherman caught his eye and gave him a serious warning glance, letting Luther know he knew the truth. While clearing the table, Luther had sneaked the crystal out of the box and into the carafe. As the host, he could have easily removed it after the others had left. Congratulations, Vince.
He guessed.
He guessed. That's actually what I would have done.
You wouldn't have adjusted your shawl?
Nope. One for
Next
me.
case. The pointing corpse. When the detective business was slow, great Sherlock Holmes had spent long empty hours playing the violin. Sherman Holmes did the same, but with less soothing results. Maybe I should take lessons, he would think as he sawed back and forth across the strings. When things got really slow, Sherman switched on one of his police band radios. After 2 boring days of drizzle and inactivity, the detective intercepted a call reporting a murder victim found in a car. Sherman happened to be driving his classic Bentley at the time and made a quick turn up High Canyon Road. He arrived to find Gunther Wilson standing between his patrol car and a white sedan parked beside a panoramic view. The sergeant actually looked glad to see him. I'm a little out of my depth on this one, he said. It's a celebrity, Mervyn Hightower. Shot at close range. I'm waiting for forensics and a tow truck. On top of being murdered, his car battery's dead. The whole city knew Mervyn Hightower, a newspaper columnist who specialized in scandalous exposés. Sherman walked around to the driver's side. An arm extended out of a partially open window, propped up on a glass edge, into a fist, except for the index finger, which was straight and firm with rigor mortis. He appears to be pointing, Sherman deduced. How long has this fellow been dead? Do I look like a clock? The forensic boys will narrow it down. I saw the car and stopped to see if he needed help, which he doesn't. I recognized him, even with the blood. Sherman looked to see the columnist's familiar face contorted and frozen in agony. I presume the man survived for a minute after the attack. What do you think he's pointing at, old bean? Something to identify his killer? Sherman lined up his eyes along the extended arm. What story was he working on? Wilson pulled a newspaper out of his back pocket. Here, in today's column, he says he's going to expose some embezzlement from the city charity board. There are 3 people on the charity board, Sherman said, checking the column for their names. Marilyn Lake, Arthur Curtis, and Tony Pine. When he examined the view, a glistening lake, a neon sign for Curtis Furniture, and a majestic grove of evergreens. Zounds! What? Zounds is right. If Mervyn is trying to point out his killer, he did a lousy job. Not necessarily, Sherman was thinking. I think he did just fine. So, who killed Mervyn Hightower? How did Sherman know?
Are they standing around the body?
Oh.
They are. They're standing around a body in a car. Yep.
Did anyone move from the crime scene?
No. Nothing was moved. He's there. His car battery is dead. That's why his car has not moved.
Do we know what direction?
South by southeast.
But you said
This one's probably a trick because I think what I picked up is.
Same thing with me. Like I think that the first thing I thought, I was like, that is very obvious.
Now I'm just like read that again.
I'm just trying to think because when they were describing the body, he had blood on his body, obviously, but he was pointing. He had blood on his arm too. Is that
Arm
what?
extended partially out of the open window, propped up on a glass edge. Hand made into a fist, except for an index finger.
What was the other two names?
Marilyn
First
Lake,
and last name.
Tony Pine.
Sorry.
No, why would he have known which one he had already? That was my question. You're both in cahoots. I got it.
No, I said the first and last name. What was the first and last name? I mean, the first name that she read in the last. I remember the middle one.
We understood each other. Apollo's over here being a
Something
conspiracy
Curtis.
theorist.
I don't know if I
don't care.
believe that. A fist with.
They didn't give us like no info either. They just like gave us names. Is it bad that I completely forgot? Like, never mind.
Do you need her to read it again?
Nope, I'm about to just take a guess.
The location?
It was on High Canyon Road, right?
Yeah. It was called High Canyon Road.
And like he was murdered in a Bentley, guys. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Teamwork.
No. Sherman was driving a Bentley.
Oh, he was driving a Bentley.
All right.
Nope.
Everybody ready? I'm just gonna go with the obvious, even though I think this one is too obvious to.
I guess you don't know, but is the road that whoever his name is murdered on?
Oh, there it is.
Is it?
That looks like Makeout Point. I don't know about you guys.
What does that say? Oh.
Is it like? Never mind.
Breakout point.
Oh. Okay. All right. Thanks for that.
What? Hold up.
Were there pictures for other ones too that
Yes.
that would hint at things? Because now I'm starting to second guess everything. Jeez.
Is everybody
Thank-
ready?
Yes. Okay.
Alright, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Curtis, Arthur, Tony. Alright!
I couldn't remember that last name, but it's either Curtis or the Tony.
So-
behind
Fred, we're gonna go with you, and then Vince. Why? You pick who you picked. Mark.
it. Okay, I'm gonna cheat, and I'm gonna say it's either Curtis or Tony because he was pointing at either the sign or the pine
See,
trees.
I thought the sign actually was pointing towards something.
But I did say Curtis because of the sign. He was pointing towards something, and that was one of the things in the view. So, but also the pine trees. I think they said something about pine trees.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. You guys said Curtis. You guys said Arthur. Arthur
Same
Curtis is
person.
the same person. So
Yeah.
everybody voted Arthur Curtis except me. All right.
Okay. Well, that's why I didn't. And even I'm kind of thinking the pine tree thing, but I'll say Curtis. I'll stick with the
Auspicious.
obvious.
Frankie, you. Why Arthur Curtis?
Because in that picture, there was
That big
Kind
sign?
of glaring.
Big giant Curtis. Curtis killed him, pointing to the car.
Vince.
Oh wow. Yeah. Just because the first thing they mentioned was like, hey, there's a Curtis sign out there. There's a lake. There's place evergreens, and I was imagining if he's facing outward, he's like pointing like this way. I had no idea what how the sign was placed. So, and they said it was like what kind was like a panoramic or whatever view. I don't know, some kind of view.
Panoramic.
Panoramic. There we go. I said panoramic. Yeah.
Not paranormal.
Paranormal. There you go. No, not paranormal.
That was
What?
the last
What was it again?
Panoramic.
That's when you actually can.
Yes.
see around you. Yes.
So crap. Yep. So yep. I'm just sticking with Curtis because ABC. See your way out of it. So.
Oh shoot.
Oh,
Well,
you
I
know you
said-
gotta change. There's
No. I'm gonna keep it with Curtis because where it's placed, like if he's pointing at something and it said the blood was going down his arm, he had to have been pointing up because the blood would be going down this way if he was
Correct.
pointing down, and the lake and the trees are behind or below him. So I think he was pointing up.
He's pointing up.
Because he had his.
Curtis.
Blood was down his arm.
He had his
But
arm
yeah.
on the glass. So I mean, a little bit of glass. It could have.
Yeah, if
Okay.
it's going down his arm, it would have to be going this way. If it was going up his arm, it'd be going that way. Or, I don't know. In my mind, yeah,
Okay.
I think it's Curtis or Arthur, whatever.
So the reason why I chose Tony Pine, and first off, it takes a whole lot of work. It takes a whole lot of time to go into rigor mortis. Usually when people die, their bodies go limp first. So the fact that he is like limp, I feel like he was posed. I don't think he was pointing at anything. I think he was out there. His car battery is dead, which means he's been out there for a long time, for a
Mhm.
bit anyway. And I think he was posed. And I think he was posed to like point at, whatever. And the first thing you see, of course, is a sign. Why did I choose pine? Because I don't know. I metagamed it a little bit, and they were like, "Oh, evergreens." So they didn't say pine trees outright, and I'm thinking the story is trying to make you miss something. So I took that extra step and said Tony because the furniture sign and the lake just seemed obvious, whereas the trees, not exactly the first thing you would jump to, which is what I think someone trying to get away with something would do. Also, I don't know why someone who is dying, their first thought is roll down the window halfway and point at a sign. Like, it was them! Versus writing a note in your own blood. But anyway, so that's what I think. I think he was posed, and I think Tony did it. So, tune in next time for the answer.